I guess I'm asking another question.
Yeah,
I'm
why?
asking if a man says, or a woman says, I'm not a Jew any longer, even though he's born a Jew. He's not a Jew anymore, is he? If
He still is, because he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Even if he's converted to another religion, he's still
Because why does he know? I'll tell you something very strong, you know, without hurting anybody's feelings. You know, those three Jews meet. One of them says, you know, I converted because, you know, I couldn't make a go. My name was Moshe Lekon. I couldn't make a go, so I converted. Now my name is McKinley. Rich. The other one says, you know, in those days in Russia, you know, I wanted to be a professor at university, but as a Jew I can't make it. Converted. Now right now I'm top man at University of Moscow. The other one says, I converted out of conviction. The other to look at him and says, listen, you're among Jews. You know, I mean, who are you kidding, you know? I haven't seen it yet, you know. And I tell you something, today, take all those Jesus freaks, and they're so keen on always letting you know I'm still a Jew. You know, I was 2 weeks ago at the weekend at Dirshus for college students. There were two little Jesus freaks left. And they're cute, you know. And they said like this. First of all, they said that Jesus is the Messiah. Second, that they're still Jews. I said to those two kids, I said, okay, listen, what was going on with all the Christians so far? Where are they? So they were not real Christians. I said, you make two mistakes. First of all, there were real Christians, and you are not a Jew anymore. Two sweet mistakes. I said, listen, imagine, okay, you say a Jew, but I'm asking you now, you have free choice. You have exact free choice. Or to believe in Jesus or to be a Jew, what would you do? Okay, you think you can dance on both weddings, but imagine you hear a voice from heaven, you can't. Make up your mind, which side are you on? And the mamish said, no, it can't be, you know, I've got to be a Jew, you know. I says, brother, but you're not, you know. You're stepping out of it, you know. And something, I don't know, was very strong for them, you know. Because all day Shabbos, they didn't have such a big mouth anymore, you know. Because basically, you know, today, regardless, the lowest creepy Jew doesn't want to stop being a Jew, you know. He really doesn't want to. Because regardless, this little boy is not that stupid. He rather identifies with Bishop Müller in München than with a Jew, you know. That stupid he's not, right? He's not stupid, right? Well, I tell you what, in our generation, if someone doesn't identify as a Jew, you know, he might be such a low creep, you know, that maybe Mashiach. Did I tell you the story about Mashiach? No, it's a weird story. It says when Mashiach is coming, that the non-Jews will bring gifts to Mashiach. So the Holy Shineveh says something very beautiful. What gifts will bring him, you know? What does he need? For the fish, he needs laksha. What does he need? So he says something very beautiful. That even after Mashiach is coming, there'll be some Jews who'll still say, I'm not a Jew. So the non-Jews will tell them, what's going on there with you, you know? Mashiach has come already, you're still holding out, you know? You still want to be a non-Jew? So they said yes. So you know what they'll do? So the Shineveh says, they'll tie him to a donkey. And they'll bring him to Mashiach. That'll be a gift. Wow, very strong. Wait 1 second. So, what? Yeah. So because the story is that the Shineveh came to say there was this really low Jew who really had converted, was really making the Jews so much trouble. So someone says to the Shineveh, he should mamish curse him, you know, he should mamish go to hell. So Shineveh says, I'll tell you something. How can I curse somebody who is destined to be a gift for Mashiach?
Imagine historically, I don't know, Jewish.
Sure. I'm sure if he would have asked Jesus, you know, he would have.
Not even a question.
No, he would. What do you mean? He considered himself a strong Jew, you know, in his own way. I think first of all, you have to realize one thing, that what Christianity did with Jesus was just later on, you know. Imagine they'll take my picture and make me Mr. Coca-Cola, you know. Maybe I didn't even drink Coca-Cola, you know. Later on.
But I'm not.
Yeah, that's what Christianity did, but I
Yeah.
I'm not. I didn't mean. I meant excuse me, I mean respectfully.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
If I talk to you.
Yeah, I understand,
You
but
know what I mean, I'm trying to.
no, I'm telling you as an
trying to find
example.
out. I mean,
No, God, but I meant it very strong, you know, that I tell you what it is. If you want to know something very strong, I'm sure he had a very great soul, you know. Obviously, he had a very great soul, and very great, so no question about that, you know. But the thing is, he went wrong in one thing. He was completely, sadly enough, for one reason or the other, he didn't have holy humility. He didn't. He was aware that he's a holy soul, and he was also aware that he can teach great things, but he didn't have holy humility. And if you don't have holy humility, whatever you teach, the people who follow you end up being pagans. Because Christianity is pagan because it's, ever the Christian is saved, right? It's I, right? I'm good, I'm saved, I'm close to God, I'm this and I. It's everything is I, because Jesus said I. Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, never said the word I. The Baal Shem Tov never said I. Abraham, I. He says, I'm the way, I'm this, I'm the Son of God. And I'm sure he meant it, he didn't mean he meant it on a high level.
I'm not sure what level I did. I imagine
Yeah.
I am, and I imagine that you are that same thing.
He meant it on a high level, but it was still pagan. This is the beginning of paganism.
Beginning?
Sure, because the moment you put the word I in, it's already paganism. On a very high level, you know.
I don't understand. I really don't understand.
Now, let's say, for instance, you know, imagine I do everything right, but I think I'm something. So wherever I am, there's no God, right? Because I'm taking up so much space. If I'm mamish holy, that means I'm not taking up any space. On the contrary, I'm giving all the space to God, all the space there is. No, tell me what you mean.
Yeah, I want to make it. I'm not trying, as far as an argument, I'm not trying to sell.
No, listen, we're here with you all the way. Yeah, tell
I'm
me.
just curious. That, from what I understand, the prayer, the prayer that was taught started with our, not mine, but started with our. In other words, yes. In other words, and I see. I don't know the way it was meant, but if you say good, good every way, then good to me is if whether it was meant that way or not, it's our. And when the prayer is said, it's our. It's not I.
Yeah.
You see, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But I tell you what, when you pray, you can say I, you know, I'm asking you, God, something else. But I walk up to you and I say, I know the way, then I'm a pagan.
No, see, if I walk up to you and I say, I know the way is to love your neighbor and to love the Lord,
Yeah.
I am not pagan.
Sure you're pagan. Because you say, you know the way, I know the way, and you're not.
No, is
When
that
you,
what was said?
yeah, because when you
Is
go
that what was
to,
said?
sure, because the Baal Shem Tov would not say to someone, I know the way, and the way is you should love your neighbors yourself. The Baal Shem Tov would say, you know what the way is to serve God? If you work on yourself very strong, to love your neighbors yourself.
I
With arm.
believe the question was that I don't believe it came to anybody that way. I believe they
Yeah.
asked him the question.
Doesn't matter, you know, but
I mean,
I tell you what, you know,
not
forgetting the
an argument,
words,
just to
yeah,
say-
yeah, I understand.
Just to bring things to a level of not saying that, I mean, there may be, in other words, if I view something
Yeah,
in more of an open way,
Yeah.
maybe whoever is in that might be able to view themselves in more of an open way.
yeah, I know what you mean, but I tell you what I mean. I'm not looking at the words. But basically, the whole difference with Christianity and Judaism is that Christianity, the people who follow it, really think they're saved. They really think they're going to heaven. This is already paganism. No, no. Jewish people think that I think I'm saved. I think I'm going to heaven. I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe not. I don't know. But would I walk up to you, Martin, and say, listen, I'm Jewish. I'm going to heaven. I don't know if you're going. That's paganism, you know. This is absolute paganism.
That's the way you're getting it, and maybe not the way that
Yeah.
it is in the pureness, see the light of it.
Yeah.
As I say, I'm not trying to argue with you.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm just trying to look from a point of, in other words, sure, there's people, there's Jewish people that come up and say, look, I'm chosen, you know.
So
I'm chosen.
that's true, I'm chosen. I don't deny it's true, I'm chosen. But it doesn't mean I'm going straight to heaven. I'm chosen to work hard, but something else. But if I say I'm chosen and I'm closer to God than you, I never said, even if I'm chosen, did I ever say to anybody else in the world I'm closer to God than he or she? It has nothing to do with chosen. Chosen means I'm chosen to teach the world that there's one God.
And I agree with you. That doesn't sound like a good thing. My question is,
Yeah.
is that part of what it means? See, to basically to love God and to love your neighbor, all that heaven and I have this and I'm close and all that. I mean, that's another thing. That's women. I mean, I don't mean excuse.
Yeah, I understand.
I mean, really, excuse me.
Top holy man, I know what you meant.
That's the kind of things that go on. But am I going to say something like that? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. Would I tell you something? In the whole Bible, basically, as much as we believe in heaven and hell, Moshe Rabbeinu never says either, listen, if you don't do this, you go to hell, and if you do this, you go to heaven. The whole talk of heaven and hell is, we believe in it, but this is not what we are talking about. This is what that's because I'm concerned if I'm serving God or not. And you see, if I'm serving God in order to go to heaven, it's also paganism. I'm doing it just for my sake. This is, you see, take all this Jesus freakalach today, I tell you something, there are some good people today, Christians, and they're really growing out, they're growing out of it, They realize this is not the way. But the real, little Jesus freakalach, Some Jesus freakalach walks up to me in Kent and it says to me, I bless you that God should take the scales off your eyes and you should see the Messiah. I say, listen, maybe God should take the scales out of your eyes, I mean, who are you to tell me that you know and I don't know? He says, I know God. I says, you know God? Sweet, how much have you learned? What do you know about God? He says, yes, I know the Lord Jesus. I said, listen, brother, you don't know Hebrew. Last year was very strong. I gave a concert in it's called Swarthmore College somewhere. It was very strong. And to my concert was the Episcopalian minister came and the Catholic priest. Real good people, They're not there, they're heaven and hell people. And in walked two Jesus freakalach, And Mamish, I knocked them off. And the Catholic priest and the Episcopalian minister says, we are completely out of this already, Because they said we are saved and I'm this and I'm going to hell and stupid talk, Even for the Middle Ages, I'm sure it was bad, But anyway, I'll tell you something, you see, I'm not really concerned. The only thing I'm concerned with is that I'm not going out to the world telling them what to do, but for my own self, For my own self, I know that the teaching of Moshe Rabbeinu, of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is believing in God in utmost purity, utmost non-pagan, utmost non-pagan, and depends what your soul is looking for.
See, of course, it just seems to me that there are certain light that came down in certain places. I'm not even saying that it came down in certain places, and maybe it comes to different people. The same light.
I understand. I want you to know there are a lot of revelations. Every person who serves God a little bit has a revelation. Any person. But the question is the heights of the revelation and the depth of it. Let's say the height and the depth of revelation at Mount Sinai is surpassing everything else. Right?
Also, is the difference you make between Jew and non-Jew? That the revelation is higher in the
Yeah, because listen to me. You see, if I believe that God spoke to me at Mount Sinai, listen, if I have a private audience with God, right, and He tells me something, and everybody else can read it and read His digest, that means I really don't believe in God, right? Because if I believe that anybody else can reach the same level without Mount Sinai, so why did God take me to Mount Sinai? You can say, I don't believe in Mount Sinai, right? You have a right to do that. But the moment I believe in Mount Sinai, then I have to believe that I know something the world doesn't know. You see the difference only, I'm ready to teach the world. I'm ready to talk to them about, but when they come to me, I want to talk to you about God, already a chutzpah. You see, again, I will not say that everybody was on Mount Sinai has reached already the level of non-paganism. God gave us the tools and put it in our hearts. I will not say that every little Yidel is sad enough who runs after money on Wall Street is higher than maybe a little Christian who really wants to serve God, you know. I'm not judging individuals now, but I just say, as a whole, the relation of Mount Sinai is the highest revelation there is, or the relation of Yerushalayim is higher than any other place. I'm sure there's a lot of holy places in the world. Any place where people pray is a little holy place, you know, but it's not Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim is utmost, that means God's light is shining in its utmost purity. And therefore, when it's in its utmost purity, there's no, you know, listen, if on the holy wall, rabbis would walk around with long garments and sprinkle water, oh, it's paganism, you know. It's not paganism, but for my nose, it's paganism. The holy wall is completely non-pagan. There's nothing going on there, right? It's a little broken wall. You go there and do that one. I don't know. The Mashiach has come, we'll know.
I think that all started from my question about if a man doesn't call himself a Jew,
Yeah.
is he still a Jew?
He better
I think
be.
maybe I got an answer now by listening to some of this.
But he is anyway, regardless. Okay, kids, let's knock this off. I tell you something very strong, you know. Someone, the Volker Rebbe met the Kotzker Chosid. And so the Kotzker Chosid said to the Volker, which was a chutzpah, he says to him, so Volker Rebbe, when are you becoming a follower of the Kotzker Rebbe? He says to him, I'll tell you something. Obviously, you're not so sure if your Rebbe is a Rebbe that you need also me to approve of him. You know? All those people who are so anxious that you should believe the same thing, that means the mamish, they need approval, you know. The holiness of us Jews, you know, we're mamish. You have a different belief, okay, you know, I still love you the same, okay, you know. You asked me to teach you, I'm ready to open my heart for you, but I'm not imposing upon you. But those people who run around and grab you by your neck, you know, that means they're really not so sure, and it really, you know, they need your approval. We don't need approval.
That's beautiful.
About what?
I just realized what you do with your teaching. You make us, you don't give us a definite answer, but you put us in a place where we can think a thing through.
You mean about Brother Jonah?
About the whole thing. You didn't give one definite answer, but you left each of us in a different place where we have to think it through.
See, because I don't know the answer. That's a sad thing, to be honest with you. It's not because I want to.